Alright, let's dive into this wild ride that is The Boys. If you've been following the series, you know it's been a roller coaster of brutal violence, twisted morality, and a sharp critique of superhero culture. But let's be real. After all the chaos, the betrayals, and the endless fights against Homelander, it feels like we're in dire need of a bold conclusion. So, how about this? Let's imagine an ending where Homelander finally snaps and does exactly what he threatened to do with Starlight, going full-on rampage and taking out everyone.
First, I'll take out the nerve centers. The White House, the Pentagon. Then any domestic defense capabilities, and then critical infrastructure, like cellular, internet, that kind of thing.
First off, let's talk about the build-up. Throughout the series, we've seen Homelander evolve from a seemingly perfect hero to the ultimate villain. His descent into madness has been both fascinating and terrifying. He's this complex character who embodies the worst traits of superhero culture: narcissism, entitlement, and a total disregard for human life. It's been a slow burn, but by now, viewers have had their fill of his antics. Every time the boys come together to take him down, it feels like they're fighting against a tidal wave with a garden hose. Remember when Starlight confronted him about the Flight 37 cover-up? That moment encapsulated everything about the power dynamics in the show. Homelander is untouchable, and the moment he threatens to unleash hell if the truth ever comes out is a chilling reminder of just how much control he wields. The longer the show goes on, the more frustrating it becomes to see the boys struggle against him, making barely any progress. So, an ending where he just wipes everyone out? Honestly, it'd feel like a cathartic release. Picture this. The series has built up to an epic showdown, with the boys planning their final assault on Homelander. They've enlisted some unexpected allies, maybe even some former members of the Seven who are tired of Homelander's reign of terror. There's tension, stakes are high, and for once, it feels like they might actually have a chance. But then, like a switch flipping, Homelander shows up. He's not even bothered. He's practically yawning, amused by their feeble attempts to outsmart him. As the boys charge in, you can feel the weight of their desperation. They've lost so much: friends, family, their sanity. They think this is it, the moment they'll finally make a difference. But here's where it gets dark. Instead of a grand battle where they manage to hold their own, Homelander turns the tables. He unleashes chaos in a way that makes previous confrontations look like child's play. Let's start with Butcher, the relentless leader of the boys. Homelander confronts him directly, taunting him about his obsession with vengeance. Butcher, fueled by rage, charges at him with everything he's got. But just as he closes in, Homelander casually catches him mid-air, smirking. With a flick of his wrist, he sends Butcher crashing into a building, the impact echoing like thunder. Butcher's defiance is met with cold, brutal laughter, and in a moment of sheer brutality, Homelander uses his heat vision to finish the job, reducing Butcher to ashes. It's a devastating blow that shatters the remaining morale of the boys. Next up is Huey, who's always been the heart of the team. When he sees Butcher fall, his face crumbles in disbelief. He tries to rally the team, but Homelander is already there, hovering above them like a dark omen. He swoops down, grabs Huey by the throat, and lifts him effortlessly off the ground. In that moment, Homelander leans in, whispering cruel words about how weak he is and how he never belonged in the fight. Then, with a twisted smile, he snaps Huey's neck in a heartbeat, killing Huey in front of the team and leaving the boys in utter shock. Mother's Milk, the protector of the group, rushes forward, fueled by fury and grief. He swings a makeshift weapon, aiming for Homelander's head, but it's like swinging at a brick wall. Homelander simply catches the weapon mid-air, then with a flick of his wrist, sends Mother's Milk flying across the battlefield. He lands hard, gasping for breath. With a look of disdain, Homelander lands beside him, crushing him underfoot like an insect. The sheer finality of it all hits hard, as the remaining boys realize they're completely outmatched. Kimiko, the fierce warrior, fights back with a vengeance, channeling all her rage into her attacks. She lands a few good hits, surprising even Homelander. But he's toying with her now. In a shocking twist, He uses his speed to disarm her, catching her by the wrist and flipping her over his shoulder. He then takes a moment to admire her tenacity, only to end it in a flash. With a brutal rip, he tears her body in half as if she were a mere toy, leaving the team reeling from the loss. Next, there's Frenchie, who's always relied on his cunning and creativity. He attempts to set a trap, using explosives and makeshift weapons to create a last-ditch effort. But Homelander does not care about this. He's always been near untouchable. As the explosions go off, he simply walks through them, laughing as he watches Frenchie's plan crumble. Then he flies toward him, unleashing a wave of destruction that sends Frenchie flying into a nearby wall, incapacitating him. In one last act of cruelty, Homelander lands beside him, delivering a swift, merciless end. Finally, there is Starlight, who Homelander left last on purpose. He takes his time slowly torturing her for all the problems she caused him over the years. Her powers, while strong, are no match for him, and she cannot fight back. She dies a very slow and painful death that makes the Homelander happy in his power. With the boys decimated, it's time for Homelander to unleash his ultimate plan on humanity. He looks around at the chaos he's created, reveling in the destruction, but he doesn't stop there. He ascends high into the atmosphere, slowly getting faster. The world watches in horror as he prepares to destroy satellites. In a single moment, he systematically flies through multiple satellites that throws humanity back to the Stone Age. Communication systems and the internet are gone. The world is thrown into chaos as Homelander cackles, the echo of his laughter ringing through the destruction. Humanity is sent spiraling back to the Stone Age, forced to grapple with the loss of all modern comforts. Without technology, civilization collapses. Society fractures as people scramble to survive. Homelander watches with sadistic glee, proclaiming himself the ultimate ruler in this new world, where he can dictate the rules and shape humanity as he sees fit. As the camera pans over the devastation, we see Homelander standing atop a pile of rubble, the ruins of civilization stretching as far as the eye can see. The once bustling cities now lie in silence, broken and barren. He looks down at the chaos with a triumphant smile, finally free to reign without any opposition. In this bleak landscape, he embodies the ultimate irony of power. The very thing he fought to maintain has become his prison. Let's talk about how this ending could impact the viewers emotionally. Sure, we've cheered for the boys, but we've also grown to understand the horrifying reality of the world they live in. Homelander's victory would evoke a range of feelings: disappointment, anger, sadness, but also a strange sense of liberation. It would force everyone to confront the harsh truth. Sometimes, the system is rigged, and the heroes we idolize are nothing but human constructs. This isn't just about shock value. It's about reinforcing the show's core message. Homelander represents everything wrong with the idea of absolute power. By allowing him to succeed, the show would leave viewers with something to chew on, a reflection of our own struggles against powerful forces in the real world. It'd be like holding a mirror up to society, saying, "Look at what we've built. Look at what can happen when we put blind faith in those who claim to protect us." In a nutshell, ending the boys with Homelander decimating everyone and plunging humanity into chaos would be a fitting conclusion to a show that thrives on subverting expectations and exploring the darker side of heroism. It would serve as a brutal reminder that the fight against power is often futile, and that those in control rarely face the consequences of their actions. Sure, it might leave fans feeling a bit hollow, but isn't that the point? It would be a finale that lingers in the mind long after the credits roll, forcing everyone to question not just the characters, but the very nature of heroism itself. So, here's to an ending that's dark, messy, and unapologetically bleak. Let Homelander have his moment of glory, and let the boys' struggle be a testament to the complexities of power and morality. It's time for the show to end on a note that's as raw and real as the world it's been depicting. After all, what's more fitting than a brutal reminder that sometimes the bad guys really do win?